Hello, class. Welcome to week 6 of NTI. We only have a few more weeks of this, so hang in there. This week, we're going to be leaving Greece behind and moving on to Rome, and we're going to be talking about Rome's geography and Rome's politics in the early times of the Roman Empire. So, Rome was the first group to really establish a large empire, and an empire is just a region of land that's controlled by one political party or group. So we saw the Persians, they had a smaller empire when we talked about the Greeks versus the Persians. And the Greeks had separate city states that each had their own power, and the city states fought amongst each other. But the Romans established a large amount of land under their control. So the first thing we're video is about the geography. So you're going to learn what kind of land Rome had, especially on the Italian peninsula where Rome started. And you'll end up seeing a lot of similarities between the Italian peninsula and the Greek peninsula. So the land should be familiar to you. And then the other video is about early Roman politics. And again, the Roman political system was similar to the Greeks. The Greeks had a democracy where the Romans established a republic, which a republic is the kind of system we have. So that's why it's important to know that. There's also a reading to go along with this week's assignment. So it's the geography and rise of Rome, and goes into some different detail that I don't cover in my video lesson. So you'll need to be sure to read that. You're going to especially want to pay attention to this chart here because that'll help you on one of the questions on the activity. So understanding the difference between the plebeians and the patricians, which I talk about some in the video, and then there's more information in the chart about the differences. The activity that goes along with this is this activity here. So the first part's vocabulary. You're going to pull the vocabulary from the reading that I just showed you, and the page numbers are given. This first person is a person, and it's pronounced Aeneas. So that's how you pronounce that name. And then there's Romulus and Remus, who the video talks about as well as the reading. And then I've already said republic and plebeians and patricians, and then they have a dictator that's not the same as a dictator when we think of ancient Greek dictators. And then the second part, after the reading, you're going to answer these questions. And again, page numbers are given to help you locate the answers. And then this one right here, question 9, is where I emphasized that chart a minute or so ago, that you'll really want to pay attention to that chart on page 299. So that's the first activity. The second activity is going to be this Greece compelling question short story. So the CQ stands for compelling question. So for the Greek unit, the compelling question was, how can war shape a civilization's rise and fall? So you're going to write a short story answering this question. So the directions are simply, you'll be answering the giant question above by telling a story set in ancient Greece. Use the outline below to organize your ideas to write your own short 2-paragraph story. So you're going to want a setting, which is ancient Greece, and then you'll put an X in these boxes. Your characters or tribes, you can have Athens and Sparta, or you can change this to something else that relates to you. You could have like Zeus versus Poseidon if you want. So, and then you're going to have a beginning. So, like, once upon a time in ancient Greece, the former allies of Athens and Sparta became mortal enemies. And then you're going to need a title. Once you have a title, you can just click in that box and type an X to mark it off to keep track for yourself of what pieces of the story you have done, and you can like write your title here so you can have your title. And then you need to use at least two of these vocab words. So alliance, peninsula, polis, agora, monarchy, democracy, citizen, acropolis, or religion. So you should find a way to incorporate at least two of those words in your story, and you can write the sentences down here and then put the X in the box. There should be a conflict, so somebody should have an issue, and you're going to explain like who and where the conflict was. So, like this example saying that Athens and Sparta were mortal enemies. Then you're going to have a resolution to that conflict, and you'll write that there. The met or not met requirements are located right here. So the key thing is that your story has at least two paragraphs and checks at least 6 of 7 boxes up above. Your story explains how war impacted the rise and fall of a civilization. So you answer the compelling question. And then your story should be original. So don't just take what's above and copy it down, and don't copy and paste something from another website. You need to create your own original work. So here's an example of a story that you could write. And again, this is an example. So do not use this. And your story is going to be wrote in this box right here, and there's a sentence to get you started if you are don't know how to start it. If you want to start it your story a different way, then awesome. But if you need help getting something started, then you can start with that. And then you're going to put your name here where it says your name. And you can type everything into this document and turn this one document in so I can see your X's and your pre-writing process and thinking, and then I can see your completed story. So again, don't be afraid to ask any questions. I know I go over this part every week, but there's still not been very many people asking questions. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Thank you to those that have asked questions. Like, it's helped me figure out how to make things easier to understand and explain things better. And I so asking questions helps me improve. So thank you to those that have asked questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions this week if you have any questions on the assignments.